So as most of you know by now, we have a new exotic body armor in the game called the Provocator, and that is going to be a guaranteed drop for every single player in the game who completes the Year 6 Season 2 Climax mission on Master difficulty. However, I know there happen to be a portion of the community, maybe you do not want to try it on that difficulty, or you just want to play as a solo player, and you've asked me to put together a build that you can use on challenging and heroic and get through it with no problem whatsoever, because remember that new body armor can drop on the lower difficulties as well. And while I am in the process of putting together a build that you can solo Master difficulty with, in the meantime, I did want to bring you this breakdown really quick, and I am going to show you a few different variations. So first of all, we are going to start with the specialization for the first version, and as you can see, I am using Technician. And the main reason for that is because this specialization gives us access to the Artificer Hive, which is going to increase our shield efficiency and duration, and that really comes into play as a solo player. And for the record, when you are running on your own, you do not need to drop that thing on the ground. When it is holstered, you're also going to get its benefits. Now the next version is going to have the exact same gear I am about to highlight, but instead of using Technician, you can see on screen we are switching to Survivalist because that gives us access to that explosive bolt, and with that we are going to be able to take out the end boss much faster than if we were just using something else. And of course, after the build breakdown, I will show you some gameplay footage and highlight exactly where I make the change from one version to the next one. Now, as you can see on screen, for my primary weapon, I am using St. Elmo's. For the last few weeks, I've been telling you if you do not have this weapon, you need to get this thing. It is an absolute must-have for every agent out there. And even though my version is at expertise level 24, you do not need to be even close to that for this weapon to still get the job done. Now, the reason it's so effective is because of its talent, where shooting an enemy is going to build a stack, and at 100 stacks, the next magazine will be filled with shock ammo. But as you can see with the mods, we got 15% crit hit damage, 30 extra rounds, 10% weapon handling, and 15% crit hit chance as well. This thing is an absolute monster. For the secondary and sidearm, totally up to you. I'm running with the rock and roll shotgun. Don't really touch the sidearm. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see I'm running 4 Striker, 1 Fenris, and the Catharsis Mask, which is what we're going to start with. Now for some reason, for a lot of players out there, this is a unicorn. You're having a very hard time getting it to drop. I recommend farming Countdown and set your targeted loot to masks. Now the reason you're doing that is, let's say if you do not get it to drop when you're playing Countdown, remember every time you complete a round, you're going to earn Countdown resources. With those, you can go to the Countdown vendor, buy exotic caches, and obviously I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And it is in the general loot pool, so technically it can drop from any NPC, but again, you want to stack the odds in your favor. Make sure you're farming in areas where the mask is the targeted loot, or hit up Countdown or the Summit where you can actually choose the loot you're trying to pick up. Now moving on to the body armor, it's the 1 piece of Fenris, and we're using the talent Obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. It stacks up to 20 times. Next we have the holster, which is the first of 4 pieces of the Striker gear set. We're running 4 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. 2 pieces 15% weapon handling, 3 pieces 15% rate of fire, and 4 pieces Striker's Gamble. And one thing you'll notice is on every single piece of gear, I'm trying to stack crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and protection from elites every single place I can. Continuing on to the knee pads, gloves, and the backpack, they are the 3 remaining pieces of the Striker gear set, and because we are wearing a Striker bag, we do have access to the Talent Risk Management, which as you can see is going to increase the weapon damage gain per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 0.90%. Now, as I said previously, I'm going to have 2 versions of this loadout ready to go before I jump into the new Climax mission. This first one, I'm going to be running with the Crusader Shield and the Artificer Hive. And the next version is going to have the exact same gear, but I am going to switch to the Survivalist specialization, so I have access to the crossbow. You can also see I switched to the Reviver Hive just in case things get sideways. Hope this video helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family that we have here at the channel, so if you have any tips or tricks you want to pass along to new and returning players, please let me know because the main goal is to help out as many people as we can. With all that being said, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage with commentary. Going to walk you through a few things really quick. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello again, everybody. Hope everyone is having a good Thursday. Friendly reminder, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Just putting that out there in case you forgot. Now you remember. Alright, so anyway, We are using the version with the Artificer Hive. You can see just having this thing holstered, you're going to get those benefits as a solo player. And I'm going to use this version of the build from the very beginning of the mission until I reach Theo Parnell. So what we're going to do is cut to that footage really quick, and I'll explain exactly why I'm making the change at that point.
You're here. We got clear behind you. Okay, new plan. You be my agent in the field, and I run tech and do the perimeter defense from here. It'll be great. Probably. I'll unlock the door for you. Don't worry, you can trust me.
All right, my friends, at this point we are going to switch to another loadout which has the survivalist specialization equipped with the exact same build I was using with the technician specialization. We're doing that so we get those cross bolts so we can take out the named boss at the very end really quick. At this point, just take your time. You're going to be taking out a lot of NPCs. They will drop those bolts that you need. I'm going to take out these NPC really quick, save you some time, then jump back in once this area is clear.
Well done, Agent. Fernanda, it's clear. Bring in the helo. Manny, you want me to stay and help or meet you at the White House? Get on the helo. Keener is waiting. Agent, if the Black Tusk is trying to rebuild the council with Bichon, we can't...
All right, my friends, we have now cleared this section. We're going to make our way to the next one. But before we do, please take a moment, go throughout this entire area and pick up any of those explosive bolts that NPCs may have dropped, because you're going to need those for the named boss. And with that being said, let's get to the next section.
You had one job, one, and you let him get away. Fuck it. Parnell probably left more tech down here. Hopefully we can salvage something from this clusterfuck.
So the good news is that if you're doing this on normal, hard, challenging, or heroic, the order of these valves are going to be exactly the same thing each time you do it. The time it is going to change is when you do this on master difficulty. And as I said in the video, I will be putting together a solo build once I actually get the thing up and running properly. It's almost there, you know what I mean, but it's still, the time to kill is pretty damn slow, so I got to work on that. Anyway, let's hit these valves, and then I'll jump back in when we get to the boss.
What's wrong with you? Kill them!
Incoming hostiles detected.
Division, you can't stop the council!
Agent, clear Bichon's crew and get back to the White House. I'm taking Theo to Keener for a debrief. Armored hostile detected.
Okay, now at this point we are going to switch to the crossbow. I have 6 of those bolts. I'm only going to use 2, maybe 3. I usually fire off a few in succession right here, then switch to my primary. And again, it's going to save you a ton of time because you're not going to have to deal with the computers, anything like that. That's going to do it for this video, my fellow agents. Hope you enjoyed it. Once again, remember, you are going to get that new exotic chest piece guaranteed the first time you complete this on master difficulty. But as I said at the beginning of the video, many of you out there may not want to do that. It can still drop on the lower difficulties as well. And I've heard from a lot of people that have gotten it that way. Let me know if you have in the comments section. That's going to do it for this one, my fellow agents. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next one.
bosses, also known as Theo Parnell, is the kindest, smartest, most handsome man who has ever lived. Well done, Agent.